Hey everybody, welcome to the Trash Movie Kings podcast. I'm your host, Adam Edwards. This episode is going to be slightly different than most. We actually received an email. So I've been trying to bribe our listeners for the last couple of weeks now with sending in an email to trashmoviekings@gmail.com. I have said that, hey, if you send an email, I'll Venmo you $5. I upped it to 10. We still didn't get an email. Those offers are done for now. But we did get an email this week. We watched The Astrologer. And some of us loved it. Some of us didn't like it as much. And some of us outright hated it. It was a pretty polarizing film. And it could have been a pretty good discussion. I think it still was a great discussion. Could have been a little bit better. But we did get an email, like I said. And what I'm going to do is at a certain point during the show, I am going to read the email. I'm going to pop back on screen just like this right now. And I'm going to read the email to you. But I do want you to listen to our discussion before that. So instead of our jazzy, smoky intro, we're going to do this one. So I'll go ahead and do the housekeeping. Go ahead and give us a follow. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Trash Movie Kings. Send us an email, trashmoviekings@gmail.com. We record Thursday nights. We post on Tuesday mornings, the audio version. And then the YouTube version is a live premiere at 1 o'clock Central. So with that out of the way, let's dive in.
Wow, we did that.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
No, sucked.
What do you have for me this time? Hacking into the stock market, closing down a bank, fixing an election. It's all easy.
Right on.
What a bunch of trash.
All right, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Trash Movie Kings podcast. I am your host, Adam Edwards. Joining me this week, Joseph Graham. Joey, how are you?
I could be better.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Howl.
What's up?
And from Chicago, friend of the show, guest of the show, Amy Anderson. How's it going, Amy?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's you.
I've been waiting.
Straight from the Central Time Zone.
Straight out of the Central Time Zone. Justin Petty's out on assignment this week. He's a sleepy boy, so he will not be joining us. So, which is a shame because this week we watched one of those kind of holy grail movies in a lot of ways. We watched 1976's The Astrologer. So this is one of those movies that it's kind of like a lost film, I guess you would say. Like it was made in 76 and then just kind of faded out of existence for a while. Joey was able to track down a digital copy a while ago. And tonight is the night that we
Got around to it.
yeah, submitted ourselves to The Astrologer. Yeah. I'm not going to ask you, Apocalypse, but Amy, Joey, want to take a stab at what the fuck happens in this movie? Obviously, it stars an astrologer.
Yeah, I think we don't have to be as detailed as we have been in the last few episodes with this one. It is the rise and fall of an astrologer guy. We were talking about this as like, I don't know how many big rise and fall movies existed to this point in 1976. It feels like almost fresh, perhaps, maybe at the time. But anyway, it's about this shitty astrologer. He's like a carny astrologer, and somehow or another he gets I guess he's like not making as much money as he wants. He's not impressing his new wife, and he goes to Kenya and he becomes a diamond smuggler. He makes a few $1 million. He comes back to America. He makes a movie about astrology called The Astrologer,
Starring him.
starring himself, then ends up with like apparently 4 network TV shows. He's making millions of dollars. He then loses it. He's kills his wife, I guess, gets mad at him because of a song or some shit. Then he kills her new boyfriend, or maybe not even a boyfriend, just a guy she was going out on a date with and slept with. Murders him in cold blood, then loses it all, and it ends with a Shakespeare quote. Anything to add?
I figured it out. It's Citizen Kane of astrology.
Citizen Kane is the movie. Yes, that's the big rise and fall movie. I was sitting here like, this feels like a Scorsese movie. I never thought about how a Scorsese movie is kind of got the sort of rise and fall feel of Citizen Kane. Some Scorsese movies, obviously, not all of them. But yeah.
That's it. This
That's
movie
it.
can be summed up in one of my favorite lines from the beginning of the movie, which is, "Your dreams are much too large."
It's crazy. I can't go on doing this.
Your dreams are much too large.
Yes. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Blow in a weird way, which, Blow is kind of derivative of some of those Scorsese movies, I think. Or apparently Citizen Kane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's challenging in a lot of ways. Well, it's weird because like it came out of the gate kind of swinging, at least for me, because it comes out of the gate and it's this weird aerial shot of like a carnival, and it does that like almost meme thing of the freeze frame of like, yep, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Do you see that kid over there kneeling down next to the lady with the purse? Well, that's me at 14. I ripped off $20 that night. Today, I steal hundreds of thousands of dollars. Only I do it legally. Legalized stealing.
Because it's this guy narrating what's happening, very Neil Breen-esque.
Yeah. And
he's like pickpocketing a lady and then jumps forward to when he's older. So like it's very Neil Breen. You've got some shit going on.
Yeah, I think that we were talking about that a little bit. It comes from being that singular voice and no one telling you this might not work kind of thing. Where, yeah.
I think he's definitely going for a Shakespearean theme. You can tell by I'm pretty sure, exact same lettering that they used for Camelot.
Yeah.
Both the beginning and the end of the movie, and for the movie within the movie. He definitely ends it on a King Lear quote, which, great. Yeah, he was definitely going for Shakespearean tragedy, but
with like a 70s astrology kick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just the idea that astrology could be so big that it would make someone like, rich and famous.
And you could have multiple television
shows. This is like what would be akin to now, like the Real Housewives or something. Like he's got 4 shows running at the same time.
There's like 8 Real Housewives shows.
Right. That's kind of like what I'm saying is he's got 4 different shows about astrology somehow. I know in those things it's like different women all over the country.
The 70s was really before reality TV though, so this is definitely 4 scripted works.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I bet there were a lot of cop shows at the time. I feel like cop shows were really big in the 70s. But
oh, sure. There were a lot of Westerns were real big. Like Western themed TV shows were real big in the 70s.
Yeah.
So it's sort of maybe before its time. I don't know. I didn't exist in the 70s. I don't really know what kind of different shows there were aside from your standards. I always think of game shows when I think of 70s. So I don't know what the fuck was going on.
There's a lot of those too.
Game and cop shows, maybe a little cop and lawyer.
Not really. A few, but mainly Perry Mason and the rare shows of the like were the 60s.
When did Matlock start? Like 85 or something? I don't know.
Something like that.
Murder, She Wrote, 80s.
Yeah, so it's not a good movie.
No, but it's interesting.
It's interesting and it's ambitious.
It's ambitious as fuck. Like, this guy is flying all over the place for this movie. It's wild. Like, he's in Kenya, he's in Tahiti, he's in I don't know where the fuck else, but I feel like he's in at least like 6 different wild port towns.
And those weren't like, he was actually in several of those places.
Yeah, he wasn't cheating.
But on it not being a good movie, I'd really like to hear what Apocalypse Howell has to say.
Oh yeah, Apocalypse clearly hated this movie.
Down. The best line of the movie was delivered by Mr. Shankman when he pointed out the blatancy of the main character of this movie looking exactly like uncannily like Gary from Team America World.
Yeah.
Mistakes anymore.
I'm not temperamental.
He looks like the puppet from Team America.
I've been just knowing.
Gary?
Yeah.
I buy that. It almost makes me think like the Trey Parker and Matt Stone had seen this movie and based it on him. They're like, that'd be perfect.
It does not make me think that at all because this movie is such a piece of shit. It's such a piece of shit.
Are you drinking Coca-Cola?
Are you drinking wine out of a goblet?
Is that Coke?
That's very thematic.
Mm-hmm.
It is not Coke.
It's Pepsi.
Is it Pepsi?
Ooh, is it Pepsi?
No.
You gotta have a Pepsi.
It is a Prima Vito.
So we've probably touched on this in the last month or so, with maybe a couple months, with a lot of these trash films having Pepsi somehow included in like as like
this one had
sponsor. Coke. This one had Coke.
So this movie has Coca-Cola, not Pepsi.
Is that guy wearing a tablecloth from Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
I know the answer to the Pepsi thing.
Go for it.
Okay. Pepsi used to have a much bigger market share than it currently does. Coke came back after when it tried to rebrand in the 80s to compete with Pepsi, because Pepsi branched off into all these different products. 7-Up, before Sprite was acquired by Coke, Fantas, all these things Pepsi had branched out into. So Coke came out with New Coke, which was a disaster. But then after that, they rebranded as Coca-Cola Classic, as they are today, and tapped into American nostalgia, started their Santa Claus campaign, and like tripled their market share of the soda market.
So then why did Pepsi sponsor my dog walk the other day?
Pepsi just believes in good causes. I can't. There's no accounting for. You know,
I was at Walmart the other night, and there's pants that you can buy that have Pepsi's logo on it. I was like,
I'm not saying Pepsi doesn't.
You buy Pepsi pants.
I want Pepsi pants.
That's refreshing, actually.
That is very, yeah.
Because I'm not saying Pepsi doesn't do well. I'm just saying
that makes me think of a simpler time.
Well, I just think that Coca-Cola has like cornered that market of like, oh, would you wear a Pepsi shirt or a Coke shirt? I feel like, you know, like people wear Coca-Cola crap all the time, but seeing Pepsi pants like excites
in the
me.
battle between Coke and Pepsi, I'm not gonna lie, I side with Pepsi.
Me too.
I 100% side with Pepsi.
Yep.
I'm gonna stick with Coke, y'all.
What
Fuck
Coca-Cola
y'all.
did is sign an exclusive contract with McDonald's Incorporate, so McDonald's only carry Coca-Cola, and that also becomes part of Coca-Cola's identification with Americana.
There's
but you know what Pepsi has? You know what Pepsi has?
Britney Spears,
Taco Bell.
Human embryo.
Pepsi has Frito leg.
Human embryos.
But I'll tell you what Pepsi has. It's
the Super Bowl halftime show.
The highest amount of caffeine. And that's why I will sacrifice drinking that fucking shitty ass beverage, is because I need caffeine.
Mountain Dew, baby.
It's a caffeine delivery system. And
Mountain Dew is a Pepsi product.
I know.
If I'm going to drink something that is that bad for me, I'm going to go with whichever one has the most caffeine.
I like
that's what I'm looking for.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm a Pepsi boy.
And if I get if the predator drones catch me in the woods and force me into a FEMA camp, Region 6 represent, I want to be in the FEMA camp sponsored by Pepsi.
Yeah.
This is not the first time you brought this up.
That's the one I want to be in because,
It's the first time he's brought it up on the show, though. So,
really?
Like Adam said, it's the one that's also going to have Frito-Lay,
Yes.
Taco Bell,
Boom.
and you know we're going to like
Pizza Hut, KFC.
with good behavior. We're going to like do like we're going to travel to other FEMA camps for the weekend, you know, and like get to eat Pizza Hut or whatever other shit is sponsored because I want the one sponsored by Pepsi. That's the one I want to be in.
Wasn't Britney Spears a spokesperson for Pepsi? I mean,
Yes.
For a minute.
in addition to Michael Jackson, we can talk about that, but
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was?
I mean, Pepsi is
Yeah,
the
Michael
new
Jackson.
Can we
generation.
just stop this interview and turn it into a dance party?
that's all I ever tried to do.
I can't even come up with a good argument for Coke. There's no good argument.
There's
It
none.
was a false argument for argument's sake. And
I wasn't even I wasn't going to bring it up because the last couple times that we've had this conversation in person, you've been a Pepsi boy whenever everyone else in the crowd is a Coke person. And so you're just determined to be contrarian, which is the Pepsi way.
Which,
Call him out.
I'm a Pepsi person through and through.
But you're also surrounded by contrarians, so you're in good company.
Well, one way or another, this movie is a Coke movie. Did they drink the Coke in
That
Kenya?
might be my apprehension.
Anti this film because it has Coca-Cola Classic.
It's got Coke. It's got
No,
the
but
Moody
for real,
Blues.
let's shut this show down and turn it into a dance party. Like now. Come on, hit the Prince. Let's do it.
All right, we're playing Prince.
I don't think Prince was ever
And
supposed
we
to
can
be.
no longer make any money off this episode on YouTube. Not that we were going to.
Never mind. Okay, I give it 2 bags of trash.
Cut that.
Okay, Apocalypse gets a 2 bag of trash and
2 bags.
he's allowed to go to sleep.
Do you want to talk about your 2 bags, or are you just going to give it 2 bags and fuck off?
I'm not gonna lie, this movie sucked. It sucked in a lot of ways. You know what?
We're going to talk about something completely different.
It made me want to watch this.
You made you want to watch a
Sasquatch?
Sasquatch movie. Did you see the werewolf at the end?
That was bullshit. That was fucking bullshit. First of all, go back and watch that.
I
again.
thought it looked good.
Like when he got shot, he falls towards the camera
We're talking about Shriek Sasquatch.
out of a window in his underwear, which was nice. But
yeah, it gets blown out. It's a shotgun.
like
It's awesome.
the way he got shot does not match the way he flew mysteriously through the window. That was
Not at all, which made it
that was a bizarre
fantastic.
shot. There are some scenes in this that just remind me of this film. And this is a very good movie. What year was it made? This actually was a newer movie made to look older.
We're comparing this movie to, what is this called? Sasquatch?
Sasquatch.
It's called Shriek of the Sasquatch.
Shriek of the Sasquatch. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think this movie is any better than that movie from any other standpoint. So that's a fair.
But you know what? Astrology is probably
Sidereal astrology. So
Yeah.
whatever you're about to
Siberia.
say
Doesn't count.
better be about a Siberia.
Sidereal astrology, in which
Yeah,
they
you sound
pronounce
like a
it
total-
Libra.
You sound like a
in
total
which-
lifer right now.
I'm an Ophiuchus, so back up.
They pronounce it lunar.
Back up.
In which September 5 is a Scorpio. You
Mhm.
know, all sorts of sidereal
I
astrology.
think it was December 5 was a Scorpio. It was real off.
Yeah, it was bad.
He pronounced some other shit weird in this too, but it was all
There was
like,
nothing accurate in this film.
oh no, not at all.
And
Except for the locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Very
locations were
accurate.
dead fucking all.
there were a
Because they
couple
were the
of-
actual fucking places. I'm pretty fucking positive.
There were a couple of things that like I was like, okay, the writer obviously has some like
The writer. Everything is
Yeah,
Craig
he had
Denny
some-
in this movie.
some concept of esoteric knowledge, but not in a way like he's not reading Manly P. Hall. He's reading like
pee hole.
That's what I heard too.
He's not reading Manly P. Hall.
Oh.
He's reading like.
Wait, is there an author named Manly P. Hall?
Your author of the day type of shit. He's reading whatever's like popular and trendy, and then he's going off of like really trendy knowledge. He's not reading real shit, and he's not writing real occultic shit. And so it's hard for me to watch garbage like this and not just be like, well, dude, you would never be invited to my.
I'll tell you this, I would be a lot more interested if he really was just super into astrology and that's what this movie was about.
I mean, that'd be cool.
He definitely is super into astrology. But he's into magazine astrology, not whatever Mike's talking about.
This whole movie is based on the Us Weekly horoscope.
Yes, I think that's what he's into. I think he saw that in popular magazines and was like, this is like cool. Everyone talks about it. It's how you hit on girls in bars now.
Exactly.
Make an entire fucking movie about it, which I think is very interesting. But Mike, I understandably find annoying.
He's not reading Susan Miller. He's reading.
And Mike wants to name every astrology author that he knows. You got any more? How many more?
Huh?
You got one more? You got another astrology author you want to drop?
No.
Mike.
Manly P. Hall is not an astrology. I want to clarify that.
I'm going to laugh every time you say Manly P. Hall.
Okay, I mean...
Listen, I'm a very
he is far greater than any astrology writer, but I mean, like, I think like the greatest astrologers of our day are going to be people like Susan Miller, and like
I don't know any astrologers. I can't keep up with that kind of shit.
I don't keep up with it either, but doesn't mean I'm a neophyte.
I would never call you a neophyte.
I wouldn't either. I don't really understand that word.
You're too esoteric.
I would never fight Neo. How would I win?
Are we going to talk about the Matrix again, or no? Like Matrix 4 one more time?
I'm down to talk about the Matrix again.
Have you seen Matrix 4?
I'm not ready.
I would rather watch this movie again than
every time we
4.
try to talk about the Matrix 4, at least one person hasn't seen it, and so we can't talk about the Matrix 4.
I watched the Matrix 4, and I had actually, honestly, never seen any of the other Matrixes.
You've never seen the first Matrix?
No, I watched it after.
You've never seen Dirty Dancing, and Joey, you've never seen Singing in the Rain. So I think not watching all of the Matrix.
I've seen it. I think I fell asleep.
You haven't.
No. I'm not upset that Apocalypse hasn't seen all of the Matrix movies. I'm upset that he hasn't seen the first Matrix movie.
The Matrix. The first.
No, I saw the first Matrix movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like after.
I watched it after I watched the fourth one.
That is so weird.
And then I was like, I should probably watch the first one.
Yeah, where were you in like 9th grade when we all watched the movie?
Well, I didn't like the Matrix because I thought it was too trendy.
That sounds right. That checks. Okay.
That checks. Yeah. Anyway, there's cobras in this movie. There's a lot of older women.
Where were there cobras in this movie?
You missed
Amy
all
has
the
her
cobras.
hands raised.
Damn it!
There were cobras, but they were very erect cobras. They did a lot of like.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fake snakes, which I appreciated because I don't think we've seen a fake snake since.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
This is the planets. The music that's playing right now.
What is it from?
The Planets. It's Gustav Holst. This is Mars.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but all right.
That would actually make more sense than what is happening.
What did we cut? Okay. What's happening?
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Love a fake snake. If we have seen one, I forgot about it. These were cool. These were good fake snakes.
Damn.
And the middle-aged lady bosoms.
Oh, that was
bosoms. We had bosoms.
I don't know what's going on. This guy does not know hot women, though.
Oh.
Mom tit.
Mom tits.
And then this Speedo scene.
There's a Speedo diving scene. God, these
Which
scenes.
I don't understand what that was about.
No one
does. There's these really elongated scenes cresting with this dinner table breakup that they're just really long, segments where I think he has like an idea of what you need to be thinking, but otherwise it's just like a really long time to watch people doing innocuous things. I don't know.
You guys remember how he went to juvie for pouring paint thinner on a cop car?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about at the beginning is like, oh, look, here is me pickpocketing a guy. I'm about to go to jail for pouring paint thinner on a cop car.
But he was 14 doing like hard manual labor, like breaking up rocks with a pickaxe kind of
Oh,
shit.
yeah. He thinks he's a badass. Yeah, for sure. Like,
it's very Neil Breen.
It's pretty Neil Breen. It doesn't have like all the like anti-corpo government kind of stuff in it. It has like a kind of, I don't know, what's like his point?
It was a simpler time.
I don't know what his point
is. Yeah, that's true. It was.
It was a simpler time.
There was no AI.
There was no internet.
No, there was not
everything all at once.
There was no, yeah.
It's not really anti-war. It's really just I think he's just a fan of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I think he's just showing you that money changes a person, or money shows you who the person was really the whole time. And
right. Yeah. Okay. So in a sense, it is sort of Neil Breen-y because that's, it's proto Neil Breen.
Yeah.
Proto Breen.
Like it doesn't have all the great aspects of a Breen, but it has like all the general kind of tendencies, they're all sort of there.
What if Breen watched The Astrologer and that made him Breen?
I feel like these are two peas in a pod, really.
Yeah, like because he was an architect and all that shit, and then he just like one night got really high and watched The Astrologer and was like, I get it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this.
This is my path.
I can't quit thinking about the word foppery.
Floppery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that was a Shakespeare quote at the end
Wouldn't
of the
it be
movie.
cool if Jason Marsiglio could like watch this movie, or if he's seen it and like send us his opinion on it?
Yes, actually, we should
That would be
hit him
cool.
up. But yeah, I want to talk about the use of women and use. That sounds kind of gross, but
there is use of women in this movie.
the way he uses,
sells.
the casting, the women he chooses is interesting. It's all like
he
older
literally
women.
sells a woman.
Yeah, he just picks like middle-aged women.
But he literally sells one of them.
Yeah, he does.
Which is also weird.
Well, and there's
Two,
a snuff
because
film
one is a
right?
prostitute.
So.
Yeah, but he buys her.
There's a lot of prostitute usages.
So
He's
his
not the-
wife becomes a whore.
She's a whore.
Yeah.
That what does it say? What is it like?
Oh, it's
oh fuck. What does it say? I thought I wrote it down.
Oh my god.
Life is shit.
Life is shit.
Life is
but,
shit.
But it doesn't.
Earth
it
is
doesn't say
hell.
life is shit.
Like God is
Earth
dead.
God is
shit.
dead. God is
Earth
dead.
is
That's
shit.
the other one.
Yeah. Oh, and they write God is dead. Shit on life. Hell is Earth.
She's gotten
Milk
milk
of
of
magnesia.
Milk of magnesia.
I don't think this
Is that for diarrhea?
God is dead. Sure.
God is dead.
Kind of punk. Heard it before. But
God,
the
yeah.
other one, and they're all written in lipstick very clearly on a mirror.
Yeah, God, yeah, she rules. That prostitute
Excellent.
rules. That's the best
I hope it
prostitute
was
I've
a
seen in a while.
cruelty-free brand of
She's just
lipstick.
fucking chugging milk of magnesia out of the bottle,
Yeah.
writing her life philosophies on mirror, crushing up her Bud Light cans, getting through her fucking day.
Yes.
Yeah, she's kind of a bad bitch. No wonder she leaves his mopey astrology ass.
Yeah, I agree.
Mammary.
Well, who wants to know their future anyway?
Who gives a shit?
Right? Like, doesn't that like who wants the spoiler? Not me.
Not me.
Mm-mm.
Did
None of my
we-
business.
okay.
as far as I know.
This is just a random question. Did it ever have a point or an explanation for the outside frames?
Why are all the paintings in the background?
What the fuck?
Wants to find out why she's been removed.
Why are they all out there?
No,
The
I
outside
think
art
you were
frames.
right. When whoever said it
No.
during it, it was their idea of, oh, rich people must do this. I think that's kind of what it was. It was just flip it.
You're talking about the paintings outside?
Yeah, the painting
Yeah.
sitting
Well,
outside.
I want to say when Apocalypse Howell does his art gallery, that's probably my inspiration.
Hell yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
we should
One day
definitely.
we're gonna. Yeah, one day we're gonna do a live Trash Movie Kings podcast, and Apocalypse, you're gonna paint during
Oh yeah,
I'd rather
like,
do
in person.
I can't. I mean,
and we're going to be doing it on the
really,
lawn.
really close to being done with that series.
I want to be in that podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll fly you down.
Perfect.
we'll fly you down. We'll do it on an estate.
We'll get a limo. We'll all get dressed up, and we'll
Yeah.
go to Taco Cabana.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
let's bring it back.
I could cut a read with this.
Let's get down to business. Down to business. Down to business.
Down
Down
to
to business.
Down
Down to business.
All right, let's get down to business.
You need more for your cheeks. It's a business.
Sorry, that's a part in the movie.
Now, we're going to get down to business. 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 When you hear the sound,
What is it saying? Business and what?
When are we gonna get
Down to business.
So, did anybody have a favorite part in?
Yeah, the deep dive where the dude's swimming in a Speedo for no reason.
I have to say, this is like, aside from maybe the shark movies, this is like the biggest boat movie we've watched.
Yeah, there's definitely been at least what, 2 if not 3 boats.
Well, there was a whole line of schooners or whatever. Like,
That is until we watch Speed 2 Cruise Control.
that's just one boat.
But it's a lot of it.
But it's all boat.
Well,
It's like-
yeah.
Less quantity, but like more quality boat time.
Yeah. Okay. I get you.
Plus, at the end, that boat like destroys a port city. So that's
Goddamn right it does.
yeah. I really
right.
liked the part where I thought that Mrs. Edna from Facts of Life was in this movie.
I guess he goes to a lot of places.
So they sold him into slavery. I swear to God, is that Mrs. Edna from the Facts of Life?
You're looking at IMDb.
And then my least favorite part was when I
Okay.
found out that Charlotte Rae, Mrs. Edna from Facts of Life, was in fact not in this movie.
It's the redheaded woman from the beginning that becomes a whore.
Yeah, but like
Or she doesn't
Hair's
choose to
down.
become a whore. She gets prostituted out.
her like hair's down and it's from far away and it's like the shitty 70s grainy, and I was like, oh shit, Mrs. Edna, but like younger. And then before he sells her for a boat, we got some good looks at her face. That's not
Yeah. He sells her sex for a boat, which is, yeah.
Not even a good
I
boat.
mean, that's a hell of a deal.
Well, I mean, he's trying to escape, right?
Like you get to have sex with this woman
And then
once, and I get to have your
he
boat.
does shoot
Yeah,
the
that's
guy
pretty
in the
ballsy.
That's a
head.
pretty good deal.
Well, I mean,
When the guy is fucking her, he does come behind and the guy says, don't kill me, and then he kills her.
That's what he wanted?
I guess he's gonna kill her.
Oh, okay.
and that is my favorite part, Amy, is
The
when, when he's like, "Don't kill me," and he just fucking shoots him, and then it's a blood wipe across the screen.
Oh,
It's
the wipe.
fucking beautiful.
Yeah, the blood wipe was cool.
Yeah. It had more blood. It had more transitional wipes.
Oh my god! Yeah, we
Than,
gotta talk about
it had
the
more
wipes, yeah.
transitional wipes than Ang Lee's Hulk.
It's like an
It
episode
had
of the
more
fucking
transitional
Monkeys with
wipes
these
than
wipes.
every Star Wars movie combined. Like,
Oh.
it's,
This has wipes I've never seen before. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah,
one
the
was like a
clover wipe.
marijuana plant. Yeah, a fucking clover plant. I was like, is that a marijuana
Hey,
plant? or
you know what movie
explosion?
had a wipe? Blow.
Does
It
it
had
have
a
wipes?
palm tree leaf wipe, if I remember
Oh.
correctly.
Interesting.
This movie has a lot of clock wipes.
Yeah.
It has a lot of
It
awkward,
has
like, but
every wipe
weirdly,
you can think of. No star wipe.
which is weird because it's the astrologer.
Maybe there is. Maybe we missed it though.
How did they not make them all star wipes for the
Maybe
fucking
they thought it was
astrologer?
cheesy.
Yeah, that's a bridge too far. That's too on the
I
nose.
Yeah,
honestly
that's
think
too
King
much
Lee's
for this
Hulk
movie.
Had more wipes, but this
Well, those are sort of all comic booky, right? So
they're wipes nonetheless.
yeah, there's a lot of wipes in that one, but this one has all kinds of like it's almost like they cut this movie on a switcher. That's what it feels
Yeah,
like.
that's exactly what it
Yeah.
feels like. Yeah.
Or maybe they did though. It's quite possible. I don't know. I don't know what the editing technology was like. Maybe it was like new
I
to
don't know,
have
'cause
on
it's
a
definitely
film edit.
Yeah, it's film. So I don't.
Yeah, it's definitely film. So maybe it was like a new thing for a whatever the stand-up stupid.
Like the reel to reel shit?
The Steinbeck or
Oh.
whatever, the stand-up editor. Maybe there's like a new one with like a weird transition thing that it kind of did it for you or some shit. I don't know. It is wild though how many wipes they use.
Yeah, this movie had a budget, which is weird. Like it has a fairly large budget for a fairly shitty movie because they travel all over the place. They beat the shit out of a car.
With an
They
axe.
rent a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
Like
It's cheap but not cheap, yeah.
it's
you notice-
poorly budgeted, I would
There's
say.
air, yeah, for sure. Yeah, all the budget is fucking blown on these trips. I mean, in a way, it almost feels like this guy maybe like someone died in his family and he inherited like a couple $100,000 or something, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make a movie. I've always wanted to make a movie. I want to go to like this, and this place. Perfect. It'll coincide with my vacationing, and it'll be about astrology, and that's what I'm into. That's what I'm using to fuck like every girl in the bar in the 70s. It just kind of, yeah. I mean, how that's
He definitely filmed this on a cruise.
on
There
what?
were some-
On a cruise.
Yeah. There were some
Yeah, 'cause
writery
they're all
aspects I
port
really
cities.
enjoyed. I liked how he introduces himself in the movie as Alexander the Great, and every piece of signage we see after that says the Great Alexander.
5 years have passed, and this time I'm back at the carnival as Alexander the Great. Still lying, cheating, and stealing somewhat, but only this time on a bigger scale.
Health, peace, happiness, and even wealth. Yes, wealth, ladies and gentlemen. From only
It says the Great Alexander, not Alexander the Great.
to open up and reveal to you you're very cute.
But I wrote down my favorite line where it's so simple, but somebody just says one of the Kenyan police officers is yelling at the other one for some reason and says, "Do you completely understand?"
Big Alexander gets out of the country, I will personally see to it that you are sent to the hottest hellhole in Africa that I can find. Do you completely understand? Yes, sir.
And I like that he had to include the word completely, because otherwise the question is, do you partially understand? And
I keep getting I keep getting ads on Instagram for like some sort of game where you cancel out the extraneous word.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me of that.
I liked the repeating line where
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Does he keep saying it throughout the film? I starts off strong and then I didn't
It's
really
definitely
notice.
that scene. He just says it over
Yeah.
and over
Yeah, that's right.
and over.
For the brunette, I want to give her money back.
Give her money back?
Yeah, that's right.
What for?
I'm gonna marry her.
You're gonna marry her?
Right now, but I'm gonna marry her.
Don't be crazy. We got a chance to get the hell out of this mess, and you're gonna stay?
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna stay.
You're gonna stay?
Yeah, that's right.
I listened for some other ones because I was like, "Oh, buddy, I love this weird speech pattern." Yeah, that's right. I love that. But it's
Yeah.
only that one scene. He
It
doesn't.
reminds me of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good shit.
I don't know. There's a lot to choose from. I think as favorite scenes. The movie itself doesn't it's quite gel totally, but there's so many weird things to pick from.
Yeah.
I think you were saying the shot to the head. I think generally the strange sudden violence that they do maybe 3 or 4 times is maybe my favorite parts. Just because it's just like, what the fuck? Okay, they blow that one guy's. I think it's like the guy who was running the Kenyan prison camp or whatever it is. But later, this Kenyan prison guy or I don't know if he's I don't know what you would call it, prison.
Cedric Yarbrough?
Yes, the guy who looks like the guy from Reno 911 makes a deal with our hero. But then this other woman that he met in a bar and I guess fucked or maybe was working for the Kenyan guy comes back and then she's just like, I want my money, and then blows his head off or something.
What about you? The transaction is over. Your presence is no longer required. Why don't you leave?
Listen, cheat me.
What about the whole scene before that, very extended scene, where they're at a bar and everyone just seems to have been dosed with like Spanish fly?
Yeah. I was gonna.
Good 2 or 3, like maybe more minutes, just watching extras who have nothing to do with the movie start to fuck each other, and then that's where we see the bosoms.
I was gonna say that, these kind of random things of violence also kind of is the exclamation point is maybe this random fucking orgy, like it's like a singles bar that ends up with like a bunch of people looking like they're all about to fuck, but then it doesn't really happen. It just flushes like a cigarette goes down a weird hole in a urinal.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. As a favorite scene.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff. I think it's between maybe that sex thing, the violence, and the dinner scene with whatever song that is, and them arguing, which is kind of unreal. See, this has all the texture of one of those kind of movies, but it's like not good.
No.
Like I could see Scorsese really.
Yeah.
Feels like a Scorsese movie. It's very strange, but shitty.
You mean unreal because they definitely just didn't record any volume for that, like any.
There's just so many weird decisions that
And they just kept moving the camera 3 inches closer.
Right, just a little bit closer. And let this scene just keep fucking going with whatever song is playing. This movie is also 77 minutes long.
Yeah.
And somehow feels epic, like one of these, like a Citizen Kane or a 3-hour Scorsese movie. Because of these fucking scenes that are just like, they should go fast, but they take 6 minutes to let a full song play or whatever.
You think Scorsese thinks this was even a film?
I hope that he's seen this, honestly. I bet he has. He's seen so much. I bet he has.
He probably has he probably has it on film in his house.
I bet he finds it interesting. I bet he likes it more than the Avengers.
They never start on the action. They always start several minutes before the action, and then in some scenes there is no action.
Like that scene where it's like a girl walking by with platforms, and then he walks by, and it's like, okay, we just spent 3 minutes watching people fucking walking. It's wild.
Yeah.
Let's get down to business.
Let's get down to business. Let's rate this fucking movie. Apocalypse. You sticking with 2 bags?
Sticking with 2 bags. Thanks for sticking out this podcast.
Johnny 2 bags.
Johnny 2 bags over here.
Joey, How many bags for The Astrologer? 1976's Astrologer, not 75.
I think I loved this movie. I'm gonna give it 4.5.
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah.
I think I might watch it again and I would probably give it 5. It doesn't quite live up to like Neil Breen territory, but it's fucking weird. It is interesting.
Yeah, it
is different than our sort of. It's not an action movie, so it doesn't fall into that sort of trash, and it's definitely not a horror movie. So there's not a ton of blood or anything like that. But it's got a lot of weird shit going on, and it just keeps like every scene is just like this is fucking bizarre. There's fucking quicksand, prostitutes, there's old ladies showing their tits, there's boats.
I know, and in that moment, I was like, my mind is blown.
Oh yeah, tarot cards 2 weeks in a row.
Tarot cards 2 weeks in a row. A lot of random there's a head the headshot is so violent.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's the line just about to blow up with your anus, and it's like a TV show with an older astrologist talking, and he's like, "This guy's outdated." I think it's the point of that.
That seemed like a legit show. Like that was a clip of a show from the 50s about astrology.
It might have just been stolen because this movie likes to steal shit, which I also appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a punk.
Yes.
Yeah, it's sort of punk.
Okay. So 4.5 bags from Joey, 2 bags from Apocalypse. Amy, how many bags?
Well, in trying to decide, I literally got a nosebleed. That's why I had to run out of the room. So I feel like this movie's having a pretty big impact on me. But
there's a possible wheelchair in this movie. Sorry.
I'm going to say 3. 3 bags of trash. I'm taking it down from 4. Ooh. 3 bags of trash. I enjoyed the bosoms over boobs. That was great. I really just think the meta aspect of making the movie that we are currently watching and then having us watch it within that movie, excellent. Boats, lots of boats. And the calendar flip to show the time that had gone by.
Oh my God. So many calendar flips.
There's calendar flips, but it's not the days in sequential order.
There's no way they got the rights to this song.
No keyboard.
No, I think that's the thing with this movie. Oh, Mike left a while ago. I thought okay. This guy's body type. So funny for her.
For walking around shirtless as much as he
does? Like a lot. It's very Neil Breen-y.
Why are we doing every 3 days? Like,
was that a different month? What month is it now?
December. No. So I liked that, but I will say I'm taking off a full bag for lack of Charlotte Rae. Don't tease me with his Miss Zedna if I'm not going to get it.
I concur.
I'm taking a full bag off for that.
Bag.
All right.
3 is a pretty high ranking for this piece of shit.
I think I loved it. I
wish
I
watched. I gave like several hundred bags of trash too. So
I kind of do wish Justin was here because I think
several hundred bags of trash.
I think that was
several. So specific.
Yeah, anyway. I wish Justin were here too. I mean,
I think this would be something that me and him agreed on that isn't like the standard kind of thing.
Yeah. So I'm actually kind of frustrated because as I've been going through and editing these episodes, I realize that Joey, you and I are usually right there on the rating. And I thought I was going to finally break that tendency. I wrote down my rating way earlier in the podcast. And so when you said 4.5, I got mad because I'm also giving it 4.5 bags of trash.
Yeah, we do kind of align most of the time.
Because I think y'all should make out.
I fucking love this movie. Like, it's bad, but it's so ambitious, and they fucking go for it. It has a budget. They're stupid with their money. They're so fucking stupid with their money.
I appreciate the stupidity.
Your dreams are much too large.
They're stupid with their decisions. They just steal shit. Like, my shout outs, I have 2 columns of shout outs on this fucking thing. Like, this movie is like Apocalypse. I hope that you go back and rewatch this thing, because this is the trash movie. This is what we do this for, in my opinion. So I'm sticking with 4.5 bags.
Parole violators is what we do this for.
Parole violators also good. Yes.
I think it's a great one. Yeah.
But
I think this one varies. It breaks Apocalypse's preference for martial arts and like pretty divisive.
But it's the martial arts of the mind. Neither is a Neil Breen movie.
Yeah,
Neil Breen transcends it all.
So does this.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's like prototypical.
And you think this precedes what transcends it all?
I think
what I'm saying is this movie, I hope you realize, has just opened up the door for me to interject my desire to watch particular 70s Bigfoot films.
We're fine with watching Bigfoot films.
We've keep saying
I would love to watch Bigfoot movies.
To get you to suggest a Bigfoot film, and you're like, I want it to be too.
No, you don't want that. You don't want that.
See,
this movie is the Ancient Aliens to Neil Breen. This movie came down and created Neil Breen.
I think there's a direct line, or at least an argument to be made for one.
This movie walked so that Neil could run.
It is, yeah. Like if this was shot on video, I mean, it would 100% would have been shot on well, except for Double Down, which looks like it's shot on video, but it's definitely shot on 35 film. This movie, if it was made today or anywhere near today, would definitely be on like mini DV. Yeah, it would look like shit. It would be so much weirder. Like, yeah,
I love
just the fact that it's all based on astrology. Like, what the fuck would it be based on today? Like,
astrology still exists today, Joey.
Yeah, I know. But like, what's like the more pop kind of weird pseudoscience of today?
Scientology.
Yeah, like it would be like Scientology and like crypto and like all this other bullshit. There's like tons of bullshit thrown on top of bullshit.
Okay.
I read a meme earlier that said,
because this guy would be like,
not pseudoscience.
This guy would be like, NFTs are interesting. I talk about NFTs at bars and fuck girls. Let's make an entire film on NFTs. Like, yeah, that's that kind of like
at the bar, you're like, hey, baby, did you know God is an NFT?
I read a meme earlier that said crypto is astrology for boys.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. It's
wrong though. It's wrong though, because we can't tell the future. But we can tell the future in our cryptocurrency. We to make money.
True.
Yeah,
true.
He's not so much. Yeah, Breen takes it to a different level for sure, which is why there's a totally different scale of Breen.
But I see what you're saying. But so what else did this guy do?
Nothing.
Okay, then he's not fucking Neil Breen.
Well, also the technology is different. Oh yeah,
he died.
Neil Breen cranks them out.
I don't know.
This guy did one fucking slush fund filmed, and that's it.
So,
Mike, it's different.
You need to research this because, like, the brief amount that I've looked into this, there's reports that he might have faked his own death. There's reports that he might have died of AIDS. There's reports of like, who knows what's going on with this guy? Who knows what happened with Craig Denny?
Fictitious.
He's just a fake person.
He's a fake
person. We don't know.
Well, he could be a non-de
CIA.
Right. This is so up your fucking alley.
And you don't even know it, man.
Don't put things up my alley.
There's a Rolls Royce in this movie.
Okay, unless you sterilize it.
Consent is important for
this. This is so Apocalypse
for you to put this in my alley.
Yeah.
But how big is it? Oh,
it's 71 minutes, so you know.
This is a very quick movie.
I think it'll fit.
My man's got a wide alley, y'all.
Okay, so at this point, you have seen the discussion. Obviously, Joey and I were very high on the film. Amy was pretty, she liked it. She was kind of middling. And then Apocalypse outright hated it. Now, I will say that while we were watching the film, Apocalypse was not really all that engaged. And that was, challenging when it comes to reviewing a film in real time. So, like I mentioned, we did receive an email, and the author of that email would be one Apocalypse Howell. And this is his revised review of the Astrologer. Now, before I read this, I do want to say, since we recorded the episode and up to now, we've kind of had some discussions about, is this a movie that's worth revisiting? And I think it might be. Now that Apocalypse has given it time and watched it himself, now that Justin may be available to do an episode properly with it, we might revisit it. So, I would encourage everybody listening to this or watching this right now to try to track this down. Feel free to shoot us an email if you need help. We can point you in the right direction and watch it, because we're probably going to give it another stab sometime in the near future. So, with that out of the way, let me go ahead and read this email from Apocalypse. He says, I know I was not in the mood to watch the movie the night that we watched it. I also know that I'm the kind of person that grows a better relationship with somebody or something if we've wrestled in a form or fashion. The confrontation doesn't always have to be physical. Most of the time, it's not. A subtle struggle is enough for two people to gain mutual respect for each other on a deeper level than most. That's sort of what happened with me in this film, or at least that must have been what happened. I know I love this movie, and I'm borderline obsessed with this movie. Here is my review. It lays out plausible explanations for the vanishing of the director. He attached a PDF of his 2-page review of The Astrologer, which I will read now. The Astrologer 1976 report by Apocalypse Howell. Craig Marcus Alexander, or as I believe, C equals 3, M equals 13, A equals 1, or 3131 numerical reference. I find it interesting that Craig meets and is introduced to a world of power by an oil family called the name Hamlin. Being a character that is portrayed as a mystic, I find this ironic since the original Hamlin Oil Company was actually created by former magician John Austin Hamlin and his brother Lysander Butler Hamlin, who made a snake oil cure-all in the 1860s. I feel the use of this name is not only an homage to these brothers, but also an attempt to mask the family name the writer is really talking about. I postulate that Craig Denny's opening monologue is not just laying out the story, but is also revealing a part of his true life in a way. Quote, I was born to lie, cheat, and steal. Legalize stealing. My whole life was based on a lie, and it still is a lie. Part of my theory is that Craig Denny knew many well-to-do families and was very well connected, in fact, perhaps to his demise. The cruise line industry is 85% owned by 4 companies and 75% owned by 3 companies, one of which was connected to the founding of a second of the bunch. This is not a new phenomenon, in fact. This is kind of how it's always been. I believe the author and filmmaker Craig Denny is in the bloodline of one of these 4 family companies. Nowadays, we might not see them as such, but in the 70s, they were very much so. There is also talk about the film costing in the region of $4 million to produce. I don't believe this one bit. This movie utilizes the family's cruises to film at locations and Denny's connections to other powerful family friends, including film manufacturers, to have everything supplied to him for little or no cost. He swindled his way through this whole film. And don't ask me to support this claim, because I'm right. Being from a very wealthy and degenerate family, Craig Denny has tried to utilize his surroundings in what would be his first film. There is speculation that this was going to be a series, and that's why it has such an episodic feel. However, I find nothing to support such a claim. The Gansfield experiment utilized red lights in the 70s through the 80s to discover humans with parapsychic abilities alongside many other military and CIA mind-altering experiments. I believe Craig Denny knew of such information. We see many, what I would assume he found, significant scenes filmed with red lighting. There's constantly the use of red in the movie, and I believe this has to do with his understanding of the effects of red light on human interactions. We only now know about these programs, such as the Stargate program, Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra, and LSD, etc., etc. He was somehow in the know in the early 1960s. On locations. Tahiti is not known for diamond production, nor diamond smuggling. However, it is known for pearls. It's known for black pearls. They mostly export them to Japan and Australia, But that's besides the point. The point is, Craig knew of the pearl diving opportunities, leading me to believe they were really filming in Tahiti. As far as the underwater shots, I feel those were shot from an aquarium, probably a staple tourist attraction in a particular location, such as the Tahiti Lagunarium, where the underwater pens are now closed to the public, but did at one time exist. As far as the location in Kenya goes, I really don't want to get on my soapbox here. This is a rant of a topic. Just know that Kenya has worked with European and United States globalist think tanks for a very long time. It's not hard to imagine that a cruise line in the 70s went there. There's also not a world of diamond smuggling in Kenya, but there is a world of another kind of smuggling. This is not going to be covered as deeply as I would like. However, it is going to bring me to my point. I feel it's entirely plausible that Craig Denny was an honest yet seemingly narcissistic person born into a very powerfully connected family. I believe he utilized his family's connections or his daily life to learn how to honestly swindle money from people. He was a huckster from the beginning, but that was what he knew from the seemingly twisted family that raised him. He was born into a society that he wanted to expose, and even in his attempt to expose them on their dime, he made subtle attempts to mask the story's true meanings. The metaphors are lost on his audience, however. My hypothesis is simple. Mr. Denny revealed things about his family business that he should not have been discussing. We tend to think that the cruise line industry might bust you for smuggling liquor, rodents, or even diamonds, but we never stop to wonder just how powerful these companies are. After all, they can travel in and out of the same places time and time again without having to be stopped and searched. I would not be remiss to believe that there is much more than meets the eye in this attempted film, but instead a subtle cry for help. Craig Denny was silenced, not a failure. Long story short, this was not a Neil Breen 70s version of Citizen Kane. However, it was more in line with a Stanley Kubrick. It was the Neil Breen 70s version of a Stanley Kubrick movie. A man born in an exceptional position, but born out of place. The black sheep of the elite. Craig Denny was more than likely sent into hiding, possibly falsely killed, to retain his livelihood after making a film that did in fact succeed. It just didn't succeed in the way he imagined. Instead, it succeeded in making the royal class of elite cruise line families nervous. Nervous that if people saw this movie, they, en masse, somehow might pick up on the subtle clues this young superstar was dropping. A hint into the mysterious world that is the son of a rich asshole father who owns family cruise lines and is friends with the manufacturers of film. He then goes on to have his work cited, which is Wikipedia and TripAdvisor.com. So that's the report on The Astrologer by Apocalypse Howell. Those are his words, not mine. I'm just reading them. I wish that we could have had this discussion, as a group, but again, I think that this is pretty prime material to possibly revisit this film once again on the show. So, like I mentioned before, please give this one a watch. Reach out to us if you're having trouble tracking it down. We can help you with that. And yeah, that is The Astrologer. Thank you again for joining us on this episode. I'm your host, Adam Edwards. Joining me this week was Joseph Graham, Amy Anderson, Apocalypse Howell, and all of you. Give us a follow, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Trash Movie Kings. Shoot us an email at trashmoviekings@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.